I just woken up.
Nice.
I,
So I'm guessing you haven't seen the trailer either.
no, I haven't.
Neil has
Did you
seen it.
see it?
Neil has seen it
It,
8 times. I'm like, that defeats the
You
reaction point.
bastard!
shall we watch the trailer? Shall we watch it?
Yes.
Saying it as you
Two,
haven't seen
two
it.
of us for the first time. I honestly wasn't expecting myself to react like that at all. I was just gonna I was expecting just to kind of sit there and be like, okay, cool, yeah. But I mean, especially near
You
the
know what it
beginning.
is? It's the music. It is
Yeah.
using that classic Christopher Reeves theme.
Oh
Man,
wow.
I that got me emotional. Like I was just like,
Really? I mean, I was about to say the opposite. It's like, oh, it's like a cheesy take on the original music.
Yeah. Same. Well, no, it's a
well,
more
it
synth
started with
take.
that, didn't it? It started with like the electric guitar bit on the Guardians of the Galaxy
Yeah.
James Gunn bit, and then it went
Mhm.
into like a more orchestral regular version, didn't it?
I mean, it's good. It's fun, and it's a play on the original. But I don't know. I'm like, I'm not as much a music person. So and then
It was awesome,
hearing,
Jose. Awesome.
well, it's just like hearing you always be very critical of the music. I'm like, was it really that good, or are you just kind of
Yes.
buying into the hype?
I always obviously buying into the hype, but also I think it when you've got that's why a lot of people didn't like the Snyder films is because they were dark, they were grungy,
Yeah,
they were
yeah.
dirty. This is the exact opposite. This is, I think, from the tone
Hmm.
of it,
Yeah,
he's going
yeah.
for classic Superman, right? He's going for hopeful. He's going for upbeat. He's optimistic. I've seen so many comments already where people went, "Look, a superhero film in color,
Yeah, I was
bright
about to
colors."
say that. Like, it's already one up from the Snyderverse because we can actually fucking see something. Like, the
Right?
color grading in that movie gets me so depressed because, like, the DC Comics is so bright and colorful, and then that movie was just gray washed all the way.
I think David Corenswet, like he hasn't done very little. He was in Pearl. That was like the only thing I think I've seen him in before this. And even in
He
that film, he worked in a cinema, so it's kind of funny because everyone was like, "Oh well, you're going to be in a lot of them next year, mate." But
he
he's got
was
the
in.
look down.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't look like the curly hair was going to be his Clark Kent alter ego for very much because there was other times he was Clark Kent, and his hair was a little more kept. So I like what they're trying. That he's probably trying different styles. And
And also Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane. I mean, again, she looks like you would
oh
imagine
man,
Lois Lane. I haven't actually seen her in hardly anything because I haven't watched Mrs. Maisel, which is
You've
like
never
her
watched
show.
Mrs. Maisel?
oh
No,
my
Oh,
goodness,
it's such a good show. And I
yeah,
think you would like it
she
because like it's mainly dialogue and talking. It's really funny.
yes, it
yeah.
she's a great stand-up comic in that. I watched the first 3 seasons before I
Mhm.
lost track, and that wasn't because the show was bad, it's just because the other stuff was coming out. But like I'm not surprised they picked her as a I can see her being a strong-willed Lois Lane.
I remember
And
when it come to the casting, the final two apparently was her and Emma Mackey from Sex Education.
oh yeah, yeah.
And I was like, she would have been brilliant. But then having seen the trailer now, I'm like, perhaps it is a bit of a joke. I mean, you're professional actors. Of course, you can do accents. Nicholas Holt's English. We haven't heard his Lex accent yet, but
Oh
it's
yeah.
probably going to be good. And well, that's one thing I really liked about the trailer. There's hardly any dialogue in it. There's no dialogue. There's the
Oh,
odd one line here, one word here or there. But it was exactly what we guessed about when we were talking about it on our preview episode before, which hasn't come out yet. Bizarre. We're in the future.
oh yes.
But yeah.
We
So
totally
leave it
filmed that
there. We
after
don't need
Christmas.
any more trailers. This is where I like jump onto my trailer rant again. We don't need
Yeah.
any more trailers. That's enough. That's enough.
Uh,
Like,
Honestly, this was what happened with Deadpool. Is like I watched one more trailer than I really needed to because I do want to be surprised. I think
Yeah,
with
I
Superman,
think I agree with you guys. Yeah, I would. I've got a sense of it, and that's where I don't want plot specifics now. It
hmm
didn't tell you the plot of the film, which is great.
but
I
it's
mean, I
also
yeah,
did
Superman. We kind of know the plot. Like,
exactly.
it's
Yeah,
like we don't need anything more. It's just
yeah.
like,
The only thing I hate to say is I'm not a fan of the wide close-up shots that create like a distortion. And it looked like there was a lot in the trailer already. And I'm like, that's gonna be
that's a you
something I
problem, Jose, because it didn't take
yeah.
me out of it at all.
No, I mean, and it's not that it takes me out. It's just it's a choice that I'm very aware of with certain like with Sam Raimi. I know he's known for stuff like that, and it's like okay, that's a Sam Raimi. Then that was Multiverse of Madness, and I get it. But like in Superman now, I'm like, I don't know. It seems a little not my. That's not my preference, but we'll see how the movie goes.
I did scrabble down a few notes as I was watching it, and
Eight
But eight
times.
times
8 times, yes.
without us.
I could not wait an hour, and I got my times wrong. I make no apologies for that.
This was your
Uh,
idea.
I know
Yes.
exactly,
Right?
and but I did not give my fault at all. I mean, it's
Yeah.
obvious I liked it, but so why does Jonathan Kent look like an older version of me, and why is he sad? Like, if I grew my hair, that's literally what it looks like. Why is he
Okay.
sad? We haven't seen Martha in this trailer.
But
Have
who's
they
she?
killed
Maybe
who's
because
Martha?
that name triggers people from the
Well,
Snyderverse.
Do you think for a joke, not for a joke, but obviously, perhaps that's why she's not in the trailer. Perhaps Martha is dead in this version of
What?
it.
No,
So they haven't fridged Martha.
no,
don't
I
don't
don't think
fridge
so.
Martha. Don't do that. And, like, let's have a superhero that has two living parents for once, please.
I
Like,
know, right? I
Jonathan
mean,
did look very sad.
it could just be a moment where something happened. That's part of character development. It doesn't have to
yeah.
be
I
someone
mean, his
dying.
son does get pretty beat up at this point, so
Yeah,
Yeah,
and of course, as we mentioned briefly, Crypto. He's got the cape. I
yeah.
mean, come on, he's got the cape, everything.
I'm
And
actually excited about that.
look how much Gunn made us care about a robotic raccoon none of us had ever heard of before in Guardians. People will die for Crypto when this film comes out, man, if they get it right. If they've
Oh
got it right on
yeah.
screen.
Well, I'm a little bit nervous about Guardians because, like, following from Guardians 3, he really tortured us with the animals. Like that
Oh
was
yeah.
just a gut punch.
That's all you need. You
Yeah.
just need Lex or a baddie to threaten Crypto, and job done.
Yeah.
Burn
It'll
them.
be the ultimate John Wick ripoff.
Uh,
They are not killing Crypto in this film, Jose, because Zack
Crypto?
Snyder is not directing this.
I mean, I know nothing about this movie because I generally have zero interest. For the pod, I will go see
Had
it.
had zero interest.
I mean, like, I just don't like Superman. He's too much of a Boy Scout. I've never liked the stories or him in the comic books. He just annoyed the shit out of me.
And moving on. No.
No, yeah, I think you're gonna hate this movie then, because from what I've heard,
It's going to be
very much
upbeat, optimistic, bright.
yeah.
that's-
He's gonna be that Boy Scout. That's the whole goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still curious. I mean, it's just that, yeah, it's just he's not my favorite superhero, and yeah,
Which is fine.
It's fine.
But I mean, look, he's heroic. You see him save a little girl from a kaiju of some kind at some point in the
Yeah, that was
trailer.
pretty cool.
Got the kid with the flag in, which looks like another country, and that's kind of he's like whispering for Superman. So it
Yeah,
shows
that's
you
what
that the
I'm a
whole
bit worried about. I mean, that was the thing about Snyderverse thing. They put Superman like way up on a pedestal, and the Jesus symbolism was way too much.
I just
Like,
thought it was as simple as that Superman is that well known worldwide that people in other countries want him to help them as well.
yeah, but like, don't overdo it. And I'm also like we saw the kaiju thing. I'm a bit worried about that because the thing about
There was more than one kaiju actually. There was
Yeah.
a few.
Really?
the thing with like many people get wrong with origin stories or first films is they make the threat level far too high. Like they make it way too big for them to overcome come and then like the next movies just like gets more ridiculous because they need to raise the threat level, and that is like a common issue that I keep seeing these days. So I'm really hoping that's not the case. That's why I just thought this would be nice, just a simple Lex Luthor story. But
It could be. I'm hoping it
I
is.
mean, but why didn't it get the rest of the
Justice League.
like Justice League involved? Exactly.
Well,
Like,
Hawk Girl's in it.
yeah.
We didn't
And,
see the
we-
Green Lanterns though, did we?
We saw
No,
that
we
we did
didn't.
see a Green Lantern briefly.
Oh, where?
That is one shot of Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner
Oh, yeah.
with the worst haircut since the Snow White trailer.
Which apparently is canon though. I've
Is
seen
it
the
canon?
haircut.
Ah,
It's
okay.
canon, yeah.
It's a bad haircut,
It
but
is.
okay.
It's
Yeah.
that weird little bowl cut, right?
He looks
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the
the
Javier
blonde.
Bardem from No Country for Old Men.
Yes.
Yes,
He does.
It's
Or Dumb and Dumber.
I've seen the
Yes.
comic book character. It's canon.
Well, I think there are going to be other heroes helping out because we know Metamorpho's going to be in it, played by Anthony
Yeah.
Carrigan. So NoHo Hank is going to be in it,
I feel
playing
like
a
we
hero. So
saw
I'm looking
that
forward to that.
character. There was a close up of a weird looking face.
Yeah, that was like the Guardians of the Galaxy style close up shot, wasn't it? It
Yeah,
reminded me
yeah.
of Groot. Actually, I was like, "That's not Groot." Oh, okay, it's Metamorpho.
yeah.
And you've got a shot of Mr. Terrific in it as well. He's
Yeah,
the guy with
that
the
was pretty
shield
cool.
as well. So I think he has got like a. I think there will be a team after this film. So I think this will kind of. I think what they're going to do, like you say, it's not. I think they said he's been Superman for about 5 years in this. So I think the idea is it's
Oh,
going to be
okay.
kind of setting up wider threats for the Justice. What Gunn is hopefully going to do well is he's very good at juggling big ensembles like we've seen with Guardians. And so what he's going to have to do is set up Superman, set up Lois and Lex, which is the key things. They're the main things you've got to worry about. But then hopefully just have these odd little cameos that with characters where they come in and they're good enough to make us go, oh yeah, we want to see the Green Lanterns TV show now, which is going to spin off from this. Oh yeah, we want to see the new Justice League with all these characters in it as well. Like you say, we get a fire-breathing dragon in the trailer at some point. I was like, okay, dragons, cool. I don't ever remember Superman fighting a dragon, but I'm there for it because obviously he can heat vision versus a dragon's breath, so that's going to be cool. Yeah. We've got the obligatory little bit of romance in it, and they're not hiding that already, which is great because we know.
It's great.
Superman
We know.
Like, I mean, yeah, Superman
they just
and Lois.
right past it. Yeah, it's just we don't need to spend ages doing that. Just
we don't need a will they, won't they? We know. We know.
It's like just when, just tell us when.
We've got why is Superman upset by the robot? I saw there's a bit in the Fortress of Solitude. We see a robot, and he's like clutching the robot on the floor. I was like, oh, is that Brainiac potentially?
No.
Also, 139. Why are the people angry with him? You can't chuck a can of soda at Superman's head.
Yeah, that's I mean, there's always those.
Yeah, Lex Luthor, like because when things go wrong, people want someone to blame, and one thing that Lex Luthor does well is manipulate the narrative.
I think if you keep it as a simple Superman story, then I think what it'll probably be is he fails at some point and doesn't save someone or a group of people, and that's why the whole and it gets manipulated as well, which why everyone's mad at him. Perhaps that's why him and his dad are sad, and then it's about him just okay, I can't save everyone, but I'm still going to be Superman.
Yeah,
I think that's what you need the plot to be, basically, isn't it?
If anything, I'm curious. The first image of Superman in his costume, he's getting his boots on, and there's this crazy thing going outside on the window, and that scene is in this preview a couple times.
I didn't notice it.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't, because there's like one part, like I think near the middle. And then when Lois and Superman are hugging, it's still going on outside. And I was just like, okay, something's going on where they're worried, but then like he has time to go help them. So I'm not sure if that's like just a moment that's like played up for a character situation. But yeah, I'm curious now, is it going to be a big deal or is it going to be a small moment that's just like, oh, it's fun for the trailer? So
I mean, as we said on the last episode that's not out yet, but it will be out soon after we've recorded this. We've broken a timeline this week with our recording. I would just say that my only worry potentially with the film is that he's going to try and do too much and it's going to be overstuffed. That's my only worry because I'm looking at it going, same. You've got the Green Lanterns, you've got the Justice League, you've also got a brand new Lex and Lois and Superman. Yeah,
Superman. The whole point of the movie.
The main guy, the big guy. Yeah,
the big guy. I'm not worried, and actually, I'm more excited now because of this trailer. Because yesterday, as of recording this, yesterday before the trailer came out, James Gunn did some interviews, and one of the things he said, specifically talking about even just Batman, is they're not going to put out a Batman movie just to put out something within a certain amount of time. He says that he wants to make sure that the scripts are solid. Like when it comes down to writing, that's where all these movies fail when they come out and they're not good. It's not that the directors or the actors or even the CGI people that they're doing the best they can, but what it comes down to is when you start filming a movie without a third act, things are just never going to be good. So they have goals to make sure that when they do a Batman movie, because that's the one thing that he hasn't talked about right now is who's going to be the new Batman, what's going to happen with that.
Batman. We've got enough Batman. A giant Batman fan, but if I have to see the pearls and the Wayne being gunned down one more time, I'm gonna freaking lose it. We've seen it so many times. Especially so many directors love the shot of the pearls cascading and then like hitting the ground. No, we're done with that. We've seen it so many times.
Exactly.
Can you imagine? I'm just thinking when they were writing Batman versus Superman, and the writers had that moment where they're like, they're both called Martha, and then no one stopped them.
But they're not. Like, I don't think, like, Superman?
Martha Wayne, Martha Kent. Yeah.
It is Martha Kent.
Yeah.
I don't know nothing about Superman. So.
Yeah. Martha.
Yeah.
And it's such a stupid moment. It's so stupid.
Let's stop fighting because our mums have the same name.
It's so stupid. Like,
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I think we can just quietly forget all about the previous DC stuff now. Like you say, in James Gunn we trust. I mean, it will be
Yeah,
interesting to see who the next lot of directors he hires and as overseer he
yeah,
gets in,
yeah,
because that's what Marvel did really good job with. They had, Feige was obviously like, the overseer general
Yeah.
guy, and he's
yeah,
like, right, and they picked a lot of directors who weren't big names at the time. Russo brothers had basically just done Community. And I
yeah,
think a couple of films that no one had seen at that point. But no, I'm excited, man. I'm actually like really pumped for like this now. I mean, like like I say, I'm an unabashed James Gunn fan. Like, I loved all the Guardians films.
yeah.
I've got if you go back to his earlier stuff, like was it is it a Sliver was brilliant as
Oh
well.
yeah, yeah.
And I'm trying to
So
think what he
smart.
did before that. Super was very disturbing. Overall excitement levels, everyone. I am at a 10 out of 10 on this. I cannot wait to see this. I will be there opening day. I might even drive to the IMAX for this.
Oh, oh. I'm definitely watching this in a not a regular theater. I'm gonna go for a bigger theater. It's gonna be. I'm excited. I'm definitely 10 out of 10. Yeah, Marie.
And Marie's just going to play spoiler.
Yeah, I think I'm like on a 5.
That's
Like,
better. That's better than that's better than I was expecting.
Yeah.
like I will see it. Yeah.
You've and at the very least, Marie, you've got bald, evil Nicholas Holt.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really like. I prefer Nicholas Holt with hair, but we'll see how this goes. I mean, yeah, I'm sure. I'm hoping it will be a fun time in the cinema. Luckily, where I live, cinema tickets are really cheap, so
There you
like,
go.
it's not going to be a massive loss on me. But we'll see.
Yeah, me and Jose, absolutely. I mean, if Ben was here as well, I'm sure Ben would fully be. I'm really interested to hear what David thinks on it because he's not
Oh
as up on
yeah.
Gun as the rest of us. So, has the trailer sold him? Like I said, it is exactly what we said on the previous, but still to come episode. We was expecting a mood trailer that gives you a sense of the tone of what Gunn's gone for, and he's nailed the tone. It just looks and feels like a Superman film in all the best ways. And what's funny is when I was kind of scrolling through Twitter as well, so many people have said, very similar to you, Marie, I had no interest in Superman. I've never seen the original. I've only seen the recent ones over the last 10, 15 years, the James Gunn ones. This makes me actually want to see it. So I wonder if there's a whole generation of younger people who only know gun stuff, and that's kind of mentally put them off
Yeah, I think so.
Superman as an idea. And then they've seen this, goes, oh, this looks fun. This looks, this looks like action, fun, comedy, romance. Oh, everything thrown together with like that little superhero sheen on it. Well, I mean, I saw a comment when someone said, do you know what? I'm actually going to go back and watch the Christopher Reeves one that I've never seen. I was like,
Yeah.
yes, it is. Even now, the original Superman is still one of the greatest superhero films ever made. I mean, it's arguably the first superhero film ever made, really, isn't it? So the first one was. I don't know that off the fact. I'm just guessing, but it was the first one that was like a big blockbuster. So
Well, Christopher Reeve is just so charismatic, and I've seen people talking about it. Like the ending of the first movie is iconic. It's like I don't want to spoil it for Marie in case she wants to go back.
Yeah, I've never seen them.
honestly, the
Nah,
first is amazing. It's amazing. Then they get
that one is worth
progressively
it.
worse. Sadly, they get progressively worse. Still in by number 4 to save money instead of Metropolis. They're filming in Milton Keynes, a city I lived in, that has no skyscrapers.
Oh
So
wow, interesting.
yeah, it was terrible. I was like, I've been to that mall. That's the only mall in the whole city. Wow, it has not changed in almost 40 years since they
Wow.
made that terrible sequel. Okay, I believe that's it. We don't need to ramble on anymore. We are all very excited, and even Marie is a little bit more excited than she was beforehand. So she's gone from
Neutral. I'm neutral.
I hate Superman to I'm neutral on it now. I will go and see it.
I still dislike Super. He never appealed to me as a comic book character. He's too much.
You've
of a
got
voice
Crypto,
cast.
you've got Bald, Nicholas Holt. There's enough to get you into the cinema.
And
Yeah,
Neil's
I mean,
future
cute dogs.
cosplay.
We know who's gonna be Neil's costume. What's gonna be Neil's costume in the next Halloween special?
Oh, definitely.
Oh yeah, who?
Pa Kent.
I was
Parkett,
gonna-
yeah, exactly. Someone was going to say Lex, and I was like, yeah. And I was like,
No.
I was gonna go Lex.
No.
Like,
yeah.
you've got options now. You've got
There
options.
we go. There we go.
I can be Lex, or I can be Parkett. And there, dear listener, dear viewer, that's where we end it. See you next time.
We needed roads.